Good morning and welcome to vlog number 9. Today we're going to have a chat about using those reflections that I've been speaking about to transform relationships and wounds that we've been carrying so we can have the most amazing life. This is called relationship Aikido. It's using those differences to really help you reframe in your mind, and I call this from my gravel to diamond process. This is where most of us through our experiences will pick up what I call the gravel, the heavy, the dirty, the hard, the horrible parts of it, and that's really etched deeply in our mind. That's a survival mechanism from our reptilian brain to remind us not to do that again because it hurts, right? But that can really limit us and keep us so stuck in patterns. So what I learned to do is to really lean into that gravel and go, I'm going to go diamond mining. I'm going to dig deeper under there, because who doesn't love a diamond over a bit of gravel, right? They're much lighter, they're much cleaner, and they're much easier to collect. So the diamond is looking at that situation to transform it from that heaviness, that darkness, and that hardness to that lightness and that the highest possible learning that you could have got out of an experience. So there's 6 emotional wounds which are pretty standard across the board. Most of them are very relatable to us. Most of us have got one really intensely and we will feel into the others. So I'm just going to quickly read them out and I'll pop them in the description below. So see what sits with you. See which one really lands with you. So the number 1 is repression. And the way to transform repression, or to see the opposite of it, is trust. Learning to trust ourselves. Denial. To transform denial, we must give ourselves freedom. Freedom to make our own choices. Freedom to do the things that we've always denied ourselves of. Shame. The way to transform shame is through joy, being so joyful that you give yourself permission to do things like wear that funky outfit or stand up and speak in front of people. The 4th one is rejection, and I relate very, very personally to this one. It was my core wound and I love it so much, and I've transformed that through gentleness. Firstly, being gentle with me, and then gentle with the people that I used to believe hurt me, but they actually gave me the greatest diamonds ever. The 5th one is guilt. Transforming guilt is done through forgiveness. Forgiveness of self for allowing it to happen. Forgiveness of the person who we believed harmed us. Doesn't mean we have to forget, but to forgive them, otherwise you're carrying that pain around like that poison is permeating your beautiful body. And the 6th one is separation, and the way to transform that is through harmony. Harmony within ourselves, and then harmony within our environment and those people that, again, we thought harmed us in the first place, that kept us separate. A really, really great example. As a child, a female child, if your father was so busy providing and away for very, very long hours, and perhaps he worked away or whatever, and you were lucky enough to have a mum, and the mum got to do the majority of the caregiving. So what you actually take on board is that men are not going to be there for you. They're just there to provide. So what will happen, because that becomes our wound, that becomes a part of our magnetic attraction, what happens in our life is we'll constantly attract male partners or male relationships that can't be emotionally available. They can't emotionally understand or hold space for us when we want to go into our flow and allow our emotions to come through us. And it's really, really interesting because I had a reflection from a client last night that this is not only my core wound, but it's also her core wound. And she was asking herself this question: if I stay with this person, that's as good as it's going to get in my life. And it didn't sit well with her. So when we looked at the reflection of her relationship with her dad, how she created the story around who her dad was and what he was able to provide. This male person is exactly the same replica, and she is unequivocally no longer willing to accept that. So transforming that is going through gentleness, of having conversations with herself about the story she created with her dad, perhaps having a conversation with her dad. This is all tools and techniques that I've done with myself, and I've got really, really clear boundaries around that relationship. So I now also know that I will no longer attract that kind of man or that kind of future partner into my world, because I've cleared up that energy from it. I see it completely differently. He was only doing what he was taught to do, so there's no blame. There is no space to blame. And his father before him more than likely were doing that. So transforming these relationships start with transforming with ourselves, and therefore looking at the reflections of the people we have in our outer world. I hope that really, really helps you. And again, if you really find it of value, please share it, like and subscribe, and I'll see you again next week. Ciao.